Well, hello, Sam's here. I decided that I'm going to do my first book tag, which is the newbie book tag. There are some new questions for 2020, it looks like, so I'm going to go through those. Question number one is, why did you start your channel? It's something I've always wanted to do. I worked in radio and broadcasting. I've done some acting, a little bit of film, nothing major to even brag about, but done some stage performances. I performed with a comedy troupe. It's just kind of the natural progression. I had never set on what I wanted it to be. So I'm excited to be here now. My boyfriend's been very supportive, just keeps telling me, like, just do it, just start it. So I did. Question 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to YouTube? Coming in as a booktuber, it's hard. There's a lot of us, and I'm hoping that my quirky, weird personality is going to help. But I'm also a writer, and there's stories that I want to put out on here. There's a couple cool things. I have someone who wants me to write monologues for them, for their actors to perform, so I'm thinking about bringing those here to perform them as well. But Stephen King say, if you want to be there's 2 things you have to do if you want to be a writer. You have to read a lot and you have to write a lot. So I plan on doing both of them here. Question 3, what are you most excited about for your channel? Just doing it. Honestly, just doing it. Like I said, I was in broadcasting when I was in the military, and I learned how to do a lot of video stuff. I haven't done video work in a long time. Some of the editing programs have updated and changed a lot since I was actively doing that work every day. So I'm kind of having to relearn it. So I'm excited to get back into the swing of things. I'm excited to get back into editing my stuff. As a journalist, I hated being told what stories to do. I always enjoyed when I got to go find my own and edit and write and voice all my own stuff. So I like the work and I like this kind of stuff, and I am happy to get back into the swing of things. Question number 4 is, why do you love reading? I don't think you're going to find many answers that aren't cliche as to why people love reading. It's pretty standard. I read for escapism. I read for knowledge. I just love reading for the stories. I love celebrating people's creativity. I love being inspired by people, and that's really, like, reading and writing. It's such a unique beast in terms of creativity, and it's limitless as to what you can do. It's another reason I like doing voiceover work, is I can do a voice or create a character, and you listen to it, and you've put the whole world in your head. That's what a writer does. I love reading these words and imagining and being in that world, tasting that world's food, smelling that world's villages, just the immersion, and there's no limit to what a writer can make a reader feel, and a reader can find anything that they want to feel, and I think it's great. Question 5 is, what book series got you into reading? I've always been a reader. I would say the first book that I absolutely was in love with is a Grover book with the monster at the end of the book, where it's like, this page is bricks, help Grover turn it over, and you just pretend like that it's bricks. And my mom and I used to read, like, she used to read that with me, and so that was really my first, like, memory book love, being little. When I started reading on my own, Caddy Woodland was my first big girl book, but what really helped me continue and keep going was Little House on the Prairie, Black Beauty, which I would love to reread. I haven't read that probably since I was a kid, and the American Girl books. I adore American Girl. Number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I think something I would want to ask some of my favorite booktubers, how did you feel when you realized oh man, I can do this full time and be okay. And how stressful is that month to month? Number 7 is what challenges will be hardest with BookTube? I think some of the hardest things about BookTube is going to be the fact that I'm not the fastest reader in the world, and I don't have a set schedule right now. I don't know what my upload schedule is going to be. I started out, like my intro video was like, I'm going to do this and this and this, and that quickly fell to pieces. So I think I'm just going to let it come organically. We'll see what happens. We'll do this together. We'll grow together. But I'm not sure what the upload schedule is going to be. I'm not sure what my consistency is going to be because I am a slower reader and I also have a day job and I work with a startup. So it's just my schedule. It's just kind of going to happen when it happens. First and foremost, this is hobby. This is for fun. This is to challenge myself. Question 8, when did you start reading? So, like I said before, my mom always read to me. We read the little board books and kid books together, and so I really started reading by myself. I wouldn't know what age I would actually have to ask my mom. Like, when did I sort of break off from you and be like, no, I can read myself because I'm a big kid now. So I'm not sure. It was very young. I never really stopped reading. Of course, you go through slumps. I hit reading ruts like no other. It's so hard. But yeah, I've always been reading. Question number 9 is where do you read? So if I'm reading a physical book or my Kindle, I am either reading on the couch or in my bedroom. My Kindle comes to the bathroom with me a lot of times. Or I also have the Kindle app on my phone because we're humans and that's just what we do. Ha! If I'm listening to an audiobook, it's very different. So audiobook, I used to have a 45-minute drive into work, and I would get a lot of listening in then, and then I would take my lunch, go for a walk around the building, and then on my breaks I would walk around the building too. So I would take my breaks, and during lunch, that was all audiobook time. Then we started working from home, so I've had to make a concerted effort to listen to my books. So again, on the couch, I'll play a game on my phone, or I'll be on my computer, surfing the internet, or playing a game, or something where I can then focus on listening to my book. So also, when I walk my dogs, I have an audiobook going, so that helps me get a lot more reading time in. And again, I have to make that effort because my drive is no longer in existence. And number 10 is what kind of books do you read? I read all kinds of books. The kinds of books that I love historical fiction. It is so fun. It could be a really loose historical fiction or a hard historical fiction. Like Philippa Gregory, she is a historian and she ties her stories in hard, she's like hard history. Or it can just have a loose tie to fiction. It's just a lot of fun. Something like The Beantown Girls, I really adored that book. Other books that I really enjoy, I love nonfiction. Oh my gosh. Nonfiction is something I never really got into. It wasn't until I got into audiobooks in 2015. I was like, audiobooks. I never thought that it wasn't reading. I just didn't think it was something for me. And it really is. I dove headfirst into audiobooks, and I started with memoirs. I love reading a memoir when the author reads it themselves. Oh my gosh, Trevor Noah, Jessica Simpson, Sally Field reads her own book. Taraji P. Henson's book was great. Gabrielle Union, Michelle Obama. So I love memoir when they read it themselves. It's the best. And nonfiction, Radium Girls is one of my all-time favorite books. Oh my gosh. It was sometimes really tough to listen to, but it was fantastic. And going back to a fiction, I enjoy magical realism. Garden Spells was super cute too. Really enjoy it. That is it for the newbie tag. I hope that you'll stick with me while I try to figure this whole thing out, and I'll be back with my July wrap-up. It's going to be my first wrap-up video, so I'm excited.